My, oh my, welcome into the show. You are watching the one and only Philadelphia, Locked On Philadelphia Sports YouTube channel. My name is Mark Farzetta. Ain't no party like a daycare party. You got Ranger Suarez starting things off for the Phils. 6 innings of scoreless baseball, striking out 8, having his curveball, having his changeup absolutely locked on. Yeah. Anyway, Bryson Stott comes up, hits a home run. Brandon Marsh hits another home run, your team leader in home runs. And Alec Bohm got the offense started there with another home run. First home run for Alec Bohm on the season. You love to see it. Phillies, of course, starting out a 10-game homestand. Is there a better way to start out a homestand than with a victory and a bunch of home runs? I think not. And also, could it be the jumping off point here? Phillies now 7-6 on the young season and feeling pretty good. You know, Rob Thompson said at the beginning of the game, before the game, he said that this lineup is going to rake. This lineup is going to mash. This lineup is going to hit home runs. And what do they do for their skipper? They go and they reward his confidence with some great play on the diamond as they begin this 4-game series with the Pittsburgh Pirates. Right now, you are locked on Philadelphia sports, of course, on the Locked On Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. And this show is brought to you by the great people at eBay Motors. From brakes to exhaust kits and beyond, eBay Motors has over 122 million parts to keep your ride or die alive. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to bring home that big victory. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay guaranteed fit only. Available in U.S. customers, for U.S. customers. Once again, you are locked on Philadelphia sports right here on the Locked On Philadelphia YouTube channel.
You are Locked On Phillies Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Philadelphia on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, welcome in. My name is Mark Farzetta, and you can't be more excited than what you saw today. A little slow start for the Phillies offense, but we're going to kick things off here with 3 big things, as we always do. Number 1. I gotta start with Alec Bohm. I'm stoked for Brandon Marsh. We're gonna get there. I'm stoked for a guy like Ranger Suarez to start out 2-0 on the season. Bryson Stott to come up with a home run. That's all great. That's all wonderful. We'll get to it. But the number one thing here is this has been on my mind for quite some time in Philadelphia. Maybe you guys can hit me up in the chat. I don't know. But here's the deal. I think about watching all of Philadelphia sports, and I think about a leap we saw from Jalen Hurts from the 2022 season to the 2023 season. And I think about the leap we saw really every single year Tyrese Maxey has been playing basketball for the Sixers, how much better he has gotten. Right there with those gentlemen, in at least the defensive side of things, is Alec Bohm. I cannot get over the leaps and bounds I've seen from Tyrese Maxey improving in basketball. I have not gotten over that crazy, actually coined the phrase, Hurtsian leap from Jalen Hurts, going from the first year as a full-time starter to his second year as a full-time starter. That was incredible. And I can't get over what I have seen from Alec Bohm at the hot corner for the Philadelphia Phillies. We're going over I freaking hate this place when he was caught on camera saying that, to him saying, all right, I said it. All right, I'm sorry. And then going out and just dominating at the third base bag ever since. He has been a hitter ever since he has joined the Phillies. He has been a clutch hitter ever since he has joined the Philadelphia Phillies. But what we have seen from him at the third base bag on 2 separate occasions tonight. One, there's a slow roller to the third base bag. He charges it, bare hands it, fires to first to get the out. And then the last out of the game, credit to T-Mac, one of the best calls I've ever heard him make in a game that is only this early in the season. An incredible call from Tom McCarthy. You have Alec Bohm running into foul territory, goes into a slide to record the final out, catches it while he's on his bum, and Tom McCarthy right there with the call. Alec Bohm loves this place, makes the final out. Great call from T-Mac, and they start playing High Hopes in the Citizens Bank Park. How incredible is that? Just the leap that you have seen in the defensive capabilities of Alec Bohm, nothing short of spectacular. Now, the hitting has always been there. To see him get a home run tonight was great. Through the barrel of the bat at the ball, popped it over the center field wall. That ball just kept on carrying for the Phillies' first run of the game. And here's what was so clutch about that home run. for Alec Bohm. If you watch the very early portions of this game, first inning, Kyle Schwarber goes up there, single on one pitch. Trey Turner, next batter, next pitch, single. You have back-to-back singles on back-to-back pitches. Then Harper grounds out, and not only grounds out, grounds into a double play. Doesn't bust it down the line again. I wonder what's going on there with Bryce Harper. But then you see him diving out in the field, so I guess he's healthy. And then next thing, JT Realmuto hits the ball in the screws, but right at Jared Triolo at second base for the final out. So you get the first two runners on, you get nothing. Bohm leads off in the second inning with a single, you get nothing. Phillies go down 1-2-3 after that. But Bohm stepping up to the plate and being able to go yard for that home run like he did in the fourth inning was absolutely clutch, especially because you were already down 2 outs. You had Harper, unfortunately, ground out to the first baseman there, ground out the first, and then Realmuto struck out. Alec Bohm stepped to the plate, works a 6-pitch at-bat. He was down in the at-bat, 1-2, and then he gets a pitch out over the middle of the plate, a curveball that just didn't get down far enough, hung up just enough, and Alec Bohm went down and got it, 407 feet to dead center field. Phillies take the lead 1-0. Marsh ends up striking out to end that fourth inning, but he comes back in that seventh inning. So let's get to Brandon Marsh. Number 2 on this list here. Brandon Marsh, I talked about it yesterday. He was a 222 hitter with the Angels for parts of 2 seasons that he played at the big league level for the Anaheim Angels of Los Angeles, Anaheim Angels of Anaheim. I don't know. 2 years out there. Comes to Philadelphia. He's a damn near 300 hitter, and he has got his on-base percentage in the 360s. When he was out there in California, he was an on-base percentage of sub-300, 299. Kevin Long, the Phillies hitting coach, got a hold of him and said, this is what we're going to do. We're going to lay out a plan, and you're going to get on that plan, and you're going to follow my instructions, and I'm going to get under my tutelage. We're going to turn you into not just a great defensive outfielder, center fielder, in this case tonight, but we're also going to turn you into a formidable hitter. And that's exactly what he's done with Brandon Marsh. I started the campaign yesterday. I'm going to keep it going. 2 days ago, rather. Started the campaign. I'm going to keep it going here. Brandon Marsh, all-star bid. Let's flirt with an all-star bid. Brandon Marsh, let's flirt with a gold glove as well, fella. Let's keep it going for Brandon Marsh. This is a guy who has certainly put in the work like Brandon Marsh has. It's great to see him bear fruit from his hard labor when it comes to what he's able to do on the diamond, in the field, and at the plate. That home run that he hit, another situation there where the Phillies needed some lightning there. They had 1 out recorded in the inning. JT Realmuto steps to the plate in the 7th inning it was. He hits a single to left field. Then Bohm ends up striking out, chases a low slider, unfortunately. 3 straight sliders, what Jones ended up throwing him, and he chased the last one. And then Marsh stepped up there and belted a slider that hung up in the zone just enough to the opposite field, and it just cleared. They had to review it. Originally, it was ruled an RBI double, and it just went over. One of the most difficult home runs to see with the naked eye. They slowed it down, showed it did go over the orange sign. I thought it went through the railing. I know it can't hit the railing, and that if it comes back, it's still in play, but it looked like it went through the railing and over the orange sign there in left center field. The bottom line is they reviewed it. They said it was a home run. Marsh started rounding the bases, 2-run home run. Phillies are all of a sudden up 3-0. Then a guy after Brandon Marsh, I got to talk about him setting the table there. Good things happen with the ball in play. We learned that yesterday. We were at least reminded of that yesterday with JT Realmuto putting the ball in play to center field to get in the first run of the ball game against the Cardinals yesterday. Well, this time, right center field, Nick Castellanos puts the ball out there. He ends up getting on second base because of an E9. So you got a runner in scoring position. Bryson Stott steps up. Bryson Stott recently demoted in the Phillies lineup. That's why he's number 3 on this list here. Bryson Stott goes out there and just belts a baseball to right field. 407 feet as well. He absolutely jumped on a sinker. I know it's cliche, but it's true. That did not sink. And he just put a great swing on the baseball. Second pitch of the at-bat, belted out there to right field. 402 feet, 5-0 lead for your Phillies. Now, Bryson Stott, to talk about him for a second and concentrate on what he's got going on. We recently talked about how he'd been moved from the 6th spot to the 8th spot. Rob Thompson decided to flip Brandon Marsh and Bryson Stott, keeping Nick Castellanos in that 7 hole. Castellanos stays there. He's been at least getting some better swings on the ball more recently than not. Didn't have a strikeout today, which is great to see. Marsh goes up there. He really helps you out. And then Bryson Stott breaks through. 220 batting average on the season for Bryson Stott with a 313 on base percentage. You never know when that one swing, when that one moment is going to happen to help turn things around when you talk about a slow start to the season. But it certainly looks like this could be a moment that things turn around for Bryson Stott. Good to see that for him. Whit Merrifield, want to see him get it going as well. Finally, we're going to get to in this next segment. There's too much good from Ranger Suarez to just lump it into three big things. He's one of the biggest things, and we're going to get to him and his night. The control he had is the control you saw from Ranger Suarez when he went on his 6-start tear last year. When he came back off the IL, needed a couple of starts under his belt before he could start going out there and start dealing. Ranger Suarez was absolutely dealing for the Phils tonight. We'll cover it all and more when we come back here. You are Locked On Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. This is a Philadelphia Phillies Locked On postcast. More in a few. Now I want to tell you about the amazing people at Policy Genius. Hey, we all know that life insurance is extremely important. It's extremely important safety net for you and your family. We also know that trying to find the right policy on your own can be time-consuming and a bit overwhelming. Policy Genius is the country's #1 online insurance marketplace. It saves you time and it saves you money so you can provide for your family with financial safety nets. And starting today, you can get all of that with Policy Genius. Policy Genius, you can find life insurance policies at the start at just $292 per year for $1 million of coverage. Some options offer same-day approval and avoid unnecessary medical exams. Policy Genius helps you compare your options from top companies, and their team of licensed experts is on hand to help talk you through everything. So do you want to search on your own and just kind of hope you get it right? Or do you want to talk to Policy Genius? Do you want to talk to a team of award-winning agents who will walk you through the process step by step? Check life insurance off your to-do list in time with with absolutely the great people of Policy Genius. Head to policygenius.com/lockedonmlb. That's policygenius.com/lockedonmlb. Or click the link in the description to get your free life insurance quotes and see how much you could save. That's policygenius.com/lockedonmlb. And let's not forget about the incredible people at eBay Motors. Passion, drive, and patience. The formula for winning championships is also what keeps you and your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and to level up to peak performance. Superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and so much more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, or all of the above, eBay Motors has you covered with over 122 million parts for your #1 ride or die. You'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, how about this? Your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices that you want, ebaymotors.com. It's easy to find your car, the MVP, and bring home huge wins. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit only available to U.S. customers. Before I get to Ranger Suarez, I see a couple of comments popping up here. I want to make sure I get everybody in here. Here we go. Brian Capelli, what's going on? Bohm is a ball player. Total faith in that guy to be a star. Absolutely. Absolutely. One of the things I loved about Bohm's at bat, especially in the 7th inning before he hit that home run, was that he actually started laying off that slider. You saw him lay off it, I think, twice in that at bat. Earlier in the game, you saw him let it go on the first one, took it for a strike, offered it the second, and then the third in a row came along from Jones, who pitched a hell of a game. I give him a lot of credit. And then after that, he was looking for it again, and he handled his business after that. So you love to see that from Alec Bohm. Go Sixers says, just leaving the bank. Oh, that's right. You were going to the game. That's right. Just leaving the bank. Locked on far. There you go. Thank you, Go Sixers. 30 bombs. There you go. Thank you, Go Sixers. Let's focus on Ranger Suarez here. because if I could use one word for Ranger Suarez, and I hate the word, like, it's so easy to say crafty lefty. It's such an easy thing, right? He's methodical. He's a methodical lefty is what he is. And there's no better example of it than the at-bat he faced Andrew McCutchen in the 4th inning. It was a 10-pitch at-bat to a veteran ball player, as we know. We knew him here in Philadelphia all too well, Uncle Larry. And he steps up to the plate there in the 4th inning. Phillies are still a scoreless game. He had already struck out Hayes earlier in the inning. Davis gets a single to left field in that inning. And then Andrew McCutchen steps up to the plate and battles Ranger Suarez. Ranger Suarez ends up saying, you know what? To hell with the off-speed stuff. No curveball, no more curveballs, no more sliders, no more change-ups. I am going right at this guy. I am going right at Andrew McCutchen. And he dusts the inside corner of the plate with a fastball that just had McCutchen flailing at it. I think McCutchen in that at-bat was waiting for Ranger Suarez to try to junk ball him again and maybe be able to work a walk in that 10-pitch at-bat, but Suarez just kept on it throughout the entire AB, stayed all over him, gave him the fastball, low and inside, and McCutchen just flailed at the pitch. Before that, he did set him up really well with the curve, and he just said, all right, this one I'm going to go after him. And he went after him and got him to chase it. You love to see it from Ranger Suarez. That's a methodical pitcher working on a very veteran, very experienced hitter. When he did go into his bag of tricks, as he did for 8 strikeouts in the game, the curveball was every bit of 12 and 6. Throw in the old hook, the old 12-6 curveball time and time again like he did tonight. It was working beautifully for him. And at one point, as the game was going on here, you saw him be able to absolutely dominate at times and then have to use some crafty work, to use the word. First inning, he goes out there, he throws 20 pitches, 12 of them were for strikes. Ran into a little bit of trouble there when he walked Hayes, but 2 outs were already recorded in the inning, and he was able to get out of that little bit of a jam. Wasn't getting a lot of calls, so the strike zone get a little bit more forgiving as the game went on, but no huge complaint as far as the umpiring or balls and strikes went in this game tonight. And then the second inning, he's able to get through it rather quickly, facing McCutchen again, struck him out for the first time, gets Taylor to strike out, and then he gets Cruz to ground out the first with a great play by Bryce Harper. I mentioned Alec Bohm's defense. The defense behind Ranger Suarez, the defense behind the pitchers in general tonight was on point. I think Harper had at least 2 plays diving to his left across the first base line in order to record outs. Alec Bohm had 2 phenomenal plays there at third base as well. One to end the game, as I mentioned, sliding to catch that final out. And then the other, the barehanded play that he made, I believe it was in the 7th inning as well. So those were things that you saw defensively behind Ranger Suarez and any pitcher that went in today, whether it was Junior Marte or whoever that came in relief. They had the defense backing them up. Even later in the game, when it looked like some trouble was brewing for the Phillies, when the 9th inning it was, when Nick Nelson was coming out for a second inning of work, there was that one hit there by Taylor that went in the right field that Nick's I almost called him Nick Sirianni. Nick Castellanos went over, old Nicky 3 buttons, and he smothered it in the gap. That ball gets by him. We might still be playing baseball right now. You never know when all of a sudden the floodgates are going to open. But Nick Castellanos in that inning went over that Taylor hit and just smothered it perfectly, backhanded it, got it into the infield, and it unfortunately ended up scoring a run later with the Triolo single. But thanks to Nick Castellanos, you saw him smother that ball, and you were able to get out of that inning unscathed before Davis ended up popping out to a sliding Alec Bohm. But all that was great. And seeing Ranger Suarez hit that stride again like we saw him, these were 6 consecutive starts that you saw from Ranger Suarez a year ago when he came off the IL after he shook off the cobwebs. He went out there 6 straight innings, at least 6 innings of work, no more than 2 runs. That's, in today's day and age, that's a dominant performance. I think 2 or 3 of those starts, he actually gave you 7 innings of work. You'll love to see it for this guy. Good things continuing to come for Ranger Suarez, 2-0 on the season, and helping the Phillies get to 7-6 on the young season. We're going to get back to Bryce Harper and some of the struggles that he's been having, not in the field, of course, but at the plate, and a question I threw out there on social media, because I am curious. The last great defensive first baseman, or even the last defensive first baseman you had a lot of confidence in before Bryce Harper. Some of the names people were rattling off to me, pretty good. It also reminded me of some players that I totally forgot even existed. We'll be back in a second here. You're Locked On Phillies postcast, ladies and gentlemen, on the Locked On Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. And one of the things we got to talk about is FanDuel. How much fun is FanDuel? Time to play a little NBA, maybe a little NHL, maybe a little baseball. You know, baseball's in full swing, as we know. And FanDuel, that's your place to bet every game. Fantastic. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets guaranteed. That's $150 win or lose. Bet on everything from slap shots to home runs to slam dunks, all on an app that is safe, secure, and easy to use. How much fun does that sound? Sounds like a lot of fun. What are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and make your first bet an automatic win. That's how much FanDuel is. And again, you're talking about right now, $150 in bonus bets guaranteed, win or lose. Get on the app, folks. Download it to your phone. Have yourself a grand old time and visit FanDuel.com/lockedon. That's FanDuel.com/lockedon to make your first bet an automatic win. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. The Phillies' best defensive. Bryce Harper is the Phillies' best defensive first baseman since the two names that I could come up with. Travis Lee, who was 22 years ago. God love Ryan Howard. The man could absolutely mash. But at first base, not great. He could pick it. He could glove it, fine. But when it came to the throws to second base, yee! A little scary to say the least. Travis Lee, Rico Brogna was another name that came up a lot when I asked this question on social media. I just said Bryce Harper is the Phillies' best defensive first baseman since fill in the blank. Rico Brogna was like 25, 26 years ago. That was a while ago. That was a long, long time ago. There was a couple other names that were well before my time that I can't vouch. Oh, Carlos Santana was the guy that I completely forgot existed. He was with the Phillies for 1 year, decent, .992 fielding percentage at first base. I also played a little third base, but I completely forgot. I forgot the 1 year away from Cleveland where he came to Philadelphia. All I remember from that year really was he busted up a PlayStation in the clubhouse. And then he went back to Cleveland and started hitting the ball again. He hit like 220 for the Phillies, and then all of a sudden went back to Cleveland and was good again. Might have even made an all-star, if I'm not mistaken. But I tried to erase that year from my memory. There are a couple more names that people threw out to me that I just thought were hilarious. Like I said, some of them were well before my time. Okay, Greg Jeffries, not before my time. That's a good one, but that's even further back. That's like 30 years ago. Dick Allen. Dune tells me on Twitter, Dick Allen. Not so sure about that one. Rico Brogna got the most love. And some of these people, okay, Mike says since Reese. Okay. Some of these people are admitting that one of the reasons they like Rico Brogna so much is simply because Harry Kalas would say his name so beautifully. Rico Brogna, in a very obscure, only Philadelphia fans would understand this, a very obscure way of praising, Rico Brogna might be the best fewer than 6-syllable name. Like only 3-syllable name, or 4-syllable name that Harry Kalas would pronounce. Rico Brogna. Brings me back to early high school, late grade school, Harry Kalas saying that name. Beautiful thing. But when you're talking about Bryce Harper's defensive capabilities, it's pretty damn good for what he's doing at the first base bag. What he's doing at what he's doing at home plate ain't so great. I'm not in a situation yet where I'm worried about Bryce Harper. And even when they were talking to Brandon Marsh after the game and they said, hey, well, what about Harper and Real Muto and Castellanos and Schwarber and these guys are known to mash. What's it like right now to be the team leader in home runs? And Brandon Marsh said, he said the thing you would expect him to say, which is those guys, it's just a matter of time. Same thing that Rob Thompson said before the game that I alluded to earlier, talking about what this lineup can do, what they're capable of, that they can rake, that they can mash, they can hit bombs and all that. I don't think he was really talking about Alec Bohm, Brandon Marsh, or Bryson Stott. I think he was more so talking about Kyle Schwarber, Trey Turner, Bryce Harper, Nick Castellanos. I think those are the guys he's talking about when you talk about mashing with some regularity. But hey, you're going to take runs where you can get them. You get 5 runs by way of the long ball. Hell yeah, you're going to take it. It's just the unexpected guys giving it up right now. And those are the daycare kids that went out there and mashed. So if they're the daycare kids, what does that make Bryce Harper? Is Bryce Harper in the assisted living? Is that what's going on now? But that's what I'm watching, at least when he's at the plate. The 3-homer game that he had against the Reds was spectacular. In the horrible weather, spectacular. But since that game, you have not seen Bryce Harper turn it on. His average is now down to 106 on the season, unfortunately. So not great. The home runs have not been there since that 3-homer game. He had a decent series, but not great series against the Washington Nationals when they were down there in Washington. He had 1 2-hit game. But other than that, what you've been seeing, or 1 3-hit game, excuse me. But other than that, the only games that you have seen him hit is the second game against the Reds and the third game against the Washington Nationals. That's not the guy that you thought you were getting to start a season. And I know you can look at these guys and say, hey, it's just a matter of time, and that's fine. But what I'm seeing in the field is far outweighing what I'm seeing at home plate. And if you're going to get other guys stepping up to the plate for the Phils, both figuratively and literally, and producing, well, then, all right, let's ride that as long as we can and give Bryce Harper and maybe some of these other guys to really start hitting their stride. So Bryce Harper right now, after today's game, he's got the average down to 196. And on-base percentage coming into today was a lowly 313. So he can still work a walk. He can still get on base. But you're still not seeing that same production, at least at home plate, when it comes to from Bryce Harper's performance. The last thing I want to talk about as far as this game goes for today, before we look at tomorrow's game and the Phillies go for their third consecutive win, second win of this series, 4-game series, of course, with the Pirates. I do want to talk about what you've been seeing from from Trey Turner. We haven't talked a lot about Trey Turner. He's also had his struggles. And you look at his at-bats today, first inning, look, if you're going to jump out on a guy that is known, he's only got, today was his 3rd career start, Jared Jones. But the book out on him is a lot of fastballs early. Not just early in counts, but early in the game. Tries to establish that pitch. So what does Kyle Schwarber do when he sees a first pitch fastball? Well, pretty much no matter who he's facing, he's going to try to jump on it. Trey Turner's been a little bit more patient so far this year. Lately, not so much, but this game today, again, first pitch fastball, he gets it, he lines into the outfield for a base hit. 2 pitches, 2 fastballs, 2 hits. As the game went on, one of the things Jones started to do was rely less on that fastball and start throwing the off-speed pitches, the breaking balls, the sliders, and all that. That's where the Phillies started to have their struggles before they got to him finally with the Alec Bohm home run. But even that was on a breaking ball. But you see Trey Turner constantly in his at-bats tonight swinging early in counts. Constantly. And I can't help but think back to last year when he was really having his struggles, Trey Turner. What you were seeing constantly from him was swinging early in counts. Next thing you know, you blink, he's down 0-2. It became a joke during the broadcast where Trey Turner is up at the plate, down 0-2. Well, what do you know? He's down 0-2 again. Let's see if he can swing his way out of this one. And he was just going up, flailing at pitches, waving at pitches, swatting flies. It wasn't good. I don't want to see him fall into that same habit. Now, tonight, he did get the hit. He's hitting 275, and that's great. But looking at him over the last couple of games, there has been a little reason for concern when it comes to how he's been trying to jump early in counts. I don't mind aggression, but I think Trey Turner's a much better hitter when he gets to that 5th or 6th pitch of an at-bat. And if he can do that, and he can also get on base and work those walks and steal some bases, and he did work walks in the Cardinal series. Wasn't able to get to 40 consecutive stolen bases, which would be unreal. But as time has gone on with Trey Turner, and the more the season goes on, I think you're going to start to see him revert back to the patience that he showed in the final 2 months of last season that I think really lend itself to that big turnaround. Sure, the boost from the fans was great, but he got to make some changes. And that was a huge change I think he made. A little bit of patience was able to breed a lot of success for Trey Turner. And that's what I like to see from him going forward. Folks, we got a big Sixers game tomorrow night. So your next Locked On Sports Philadelphia postcast will be a Sixers postcast tomorrow night. Huge playoff implications, seeding implications on the line tomorrow night when the 76ers tip off against the Orlando Magic at 7 o'clock. Sixers trying to get up to that 6 or 5 seed in the Eastern Conference. So we'll be talking about that tomorrow night. But as for now, thanks for watching this Philadelphia Phillies postcast. My name is Mark Farzetta. And make sure if you haven't done it already, you hit like, you hit subscribe on the Locked On Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. And you can always catch our postcasts for the biggest game of the day right here on the Locked On Sports Philadelphia channel. This has been your postcast when it comes to the Phillies. Locked On Phillies postcast. Catch you guys tomorrow night. Looking forward to it. See you guys then.